A new day for Dorothy. As the lady walked, I tried to concentrate on the beautiful room around us instead of on her words. For she was telling me about Dorothy, her 8-year-old daughter, the middle one of her 5 children, a mentally retarded child. She's never spoken a single word, the mother repeated. The doctors say it's hopeless. We took her up to Boston last year, and I fixed my thoughts on the green damask draperies framing tall windows looked out on Park Avenue. How handsome the whole room was, with its crystal chandeliers, its concert grand piano, its fresh flowers everywhere. What a lovely woman the mother was, an opera singer whose name I had known ever before her letter came asking me if I would consider a job with Dorothy. Yes, a lovely woman, and especially her love for this little girl whom all the experts said should be put away. The love was a thing to concentrate on. And so, while pretending to listen, I closed my ears to the results of the reflex test and encephalograms. In my years of working with retarded children, I had discovered that my attention must not go to the lacks but to the special strengths of such children. There was strength in each of them, I was sure. I believed that a little of God lives in every one of us and that to bring it out is the only job of any teacher. Dorothy and I met the next weekend. With me, it was love at first sight. This beautiful, blonde, blue eyed child, surely a very lovely person, lived in such a form. Her part, Dorothy, only stared at me with inscrutable eyes. It's one of her quiet days, thank heaven, her mother said, on her wild ones. There's no controlling her. My mind considered those wild days. I liked the sound of them. They told me there was a person here, trapped in whatever chemical or physical prison, but an individual struggling to be seen and recognized. I told her mother I would try the job for a month. It was a hard one from the beginning. In the afternoons, I would take Dorothy to a special class for retarded children. She just sat in a chair, staring straight ahead, making no effort to join in the activities. She is unreachable, her teacher told me. I don't know why they keep sending her. I gazed around the room at the other children, all engrossed in simple mechanical tasks, and I silently agreed with Dorothy. What was challenging about fitting a square peg into a square hole? With her parents' permission, we stopped going there. Dorothy's problem everywhere, it seemed to me, was the non expectation of everyone around her. I remember breakfast one morning when the other 4 children and their nurse had come into town. The others quickly finished their cereal, but Dorothy, dazzled by the activity around her, hadn't touched hers. Just spoon into her, the nurse cried impatiently. She can eat by herself, I said. I guess she's just too interested in what's going on. Interested? Nurse gave a snort of contempt. She doesn't have any more idea what's happening than that canary. It's a shame she's allowed at the table. She just upsets the other children. It wasn't true. Dorothy's brother and sisters, especially her older sister Martha, seemed genuinely happy to be with her. But even Martha had fallen into Nerd's habit of talking about her. Dorothy looks nice today. Dorothy's hair needs combining. Shall I do it? Rather than to her, it was so easy to assume that because she had no words, she had no understanding either. I understood the problem. I felt it most during our daily walk in Central Park. It was October, warm sunny Indian summer, and Dorothy and I spent hours just walking. When the silence threatened to observe us both, I sang. I started with the hymns I remembered from my own childhood back in England. Dorothy seemed to like the song, for her feet marched in time to the music and her head nodded rhythmically. We also brought sketch pads and crayons to the park. I was fascinated by some drawings I had found in Dorothy's room. Pattern of graceful waving lines drawn over and over again. What it meant, I had no idea, but it certainly wasn't scribble, as Nurse impatiently called it. And so we would sit on a park bench and sketch. I drew trees and strolling people and the loft skyline beyond the park, and Dorothy drew pigeons. I saw the first time what they were, not perhaps the outside of pigeons like other people draw, but the souls of the birds instead, the very way it feels to be a pigeon. Faster than my eyes could follow, her hand moved. The wings in flight, the thrust for the neck, the self important walk. The golden autumn passed too swiftly. A day dawned when the rain streamed down the tall windows and wind rattled the doors. So Dorothy sat on the piano bench beside me as I sang the songs I had sung in the park. I started off with one of Fenwick Holmes' Songs of Silence. Halfway through this joyous song, the miracle happened. One moment I was singing alone, the next, Dorothy was singing with me, word for word in perfect tune. Electrified, I played on and on without a break, praying that the spell would not be broken. What a memory! How marvelously her mind had written the words of song after song, far better than an average 8-year-old. I heard someone sob. I turned and saw Dorothy's mother in the doorway, tears streaming down her cheeks, unable to do anything but hold out her arms to her child. From that moment on, life was different for Dorothy. From singing, it was not far to speaking. Although words with music always came first, we made up songs for everything. Water, a washcloth, see what I mean. Knees that are dirty will soon be clean. At the planetarium, I can watch the stars. There is Venus, here is Mars. Other changes took place in Dorothy. Her tensions disappeared along with the frustrations of a spirit bottled up. So did her wildness. The nurse never adjusted to the difference in her and took another job. As Dorothy continued to learn, I lengthened my stay. Just another month until she learned the alphabet. When I left, Dorothy was poised, self sufficient 13-year-old. Normal? Not if normal means average. All of us have strong points and weak points, and in Dorothy, everything is extreme. But this means extremes of knowing and expressing that most of us never reach. Those wavy lines, for instance, the ones she drew again and again. When she had enough words, she told me, "That's what the wind looks like. Dorothy, your eyes see deep down important things. Your ears hear silent things. Your world is set to music. If God left something out of you, it was only to fill it with Himself." Francis E. Leslie.